evening and welcome. This is episode 19 of the 4x3 podcast. And on today's discussion, I would like to talk about cryptocurrency, namely Bitcoin. I had an interesting discussion with a local friend and a couple of local friends in the region, and they were discussing the ideas behind cryptocurrency, namely the fact that they had participated or still do participate in Bitcoin. And, well, for me, it's just, I'm not 100% sure if it is a sound idea. And the thoughts that I have had for a while, even though I'm very interested in having a go at it, using it as my, bank account. I have for a while thought about this, but at the back of my mind, I also, not much of a fan. I am well into cash and physical a possession, something that is able to be handed to somebody in exchange for a product or service. Although I have more concern about that as well, in that it would be smarter to actually trade with people, something that is far more reliable resource, and resources that we run out of every single day. And that pretty much is water, food, and any tools and anything that help us survive. And having these little pockets of communities and individuals that participate in stuff like this, we can work hand in hand to actually continue to live that way till our dying day, basically. So in essence, money is not valuable. It is, in my opinion, quite useless. It is only here because people have a need for things that a certain minority have collected over the years and basically used it as some sort of, I'd say I'm getting the word blackmail wrong here, to basically gather all of the resources and basically charge the general population for them, as well as services. So whenever there's a demand for something, that's when people will come. But the major problems for me are just like pest control. That's a major thing, and that's what people need. But the reason people need pest control is because of the destruction that's happened over the years, and that continues to happen all over the world, and that is why the pests are here. Now, how does this relate to cryptocurrency? Well, it doesn't, but, I don't know, but yeah. Essentially, I'll get to why right now, why I believe that cryptocurrency could potentially be an issue into the future. Now, I do believe it has targeted for many years a community that is very strong-willed on having cash continue to be a currency, or a physical item to be a currency, over years and years. I believe that this was invented and created to target those communities and to make them believe that they are going to live in a private network and be able to share money without financial systems knowing about it and without being monitored. while all the while it might be the case now, well, there's not really any proof. The only reason being is because those who invented encryption and those who created the internet and those who created everything that you see online, there is no way that they don't have the ability to monitor everything that you do. And I sort of laugh at things now in relation to having VPNs and how it's now a subscription-based model, and how it's basically in existence behind a paywall, that now they're promoting it as a good thing to prevent you from being targeted online or whatever it is. But to me, I believe that people who have basically tried to pirate movies and music and try to live online and do things without being in trouble, I believe that I can't say that they are mostly targeted in that, but I can say that somehow it's helped those. I don't know if it's really helped them, but it sort of tricks certain people. Now, in reality, there are a lot of restrictions online for people who try to pirate anything. But in reality, there's no punishment. Only because there is so much money being made from these subscription movie companies like Netflix and Stan and Disney and all the rest of them. These people are making billions of dollars. Well, Netflix would be making, I would love to say billions a month, but that could be dramatic. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite possible. But anyway, with cryptocurrency, I do want to try and put my money on there, and I've wanted to try and do that for a bit of fun for a while. To put, a couple of bucks here and all that, but I've been watching, I've known the lowest price that the Bitcoin was at, and I would like to say I'd been watching that for a while, but definitely the price has changed in more than 4 years. I probably haven't even looked in the past 4 years, to be honest. I think the last time I checked it was like 30,000 AU dollars for one Bitcoin or something, and now it's like 150. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I know people have allegedly made some money from it, but I get worried about the fees that you receive and whether your dollar is worth the same amount when you put it in as when you take it out. It sort of reminds me of those app scams where if you keep doing these surveys every day, you'll get $1 or 30 cents and you will get free money, and then eventually you have to wait until you reach like $20, and then they make it so difficult for you to the point where that $20 is not attainable, and then you just give up, and then they take your money and run with it. But the other side to that, I guess, is, I don't know. And also you would have to put a lot of money in to actually get a lot out. So for example, if you're someone who puts 100 in, you're not going to get a lot out when the price doubles. If you put 20,000 in, you're going to get 20,000. When it doubles, you're going to get, whatever, and then you have to pay fees and whatnot. But it's not profitable if I don't know how to explain it. It's not profitable if you don't have a lot of money, I suppose. But like, say if you had 100,000, then it goes up by 300% or whatever the fuck it does. Let's say the price jumps from 150 to $1 million, then you're probably going to make a pretty good amount of money. I mean, I guess the same would go if you put 10k in, but you really have to put a certain amount in. But you could also lose that money. And the other thing that annoys me about the idea of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is it still goes with the flow of politics and news and I don't know what the word is for it. Anything that happens in the world. Like, we build these characters, like these billionaire characters, and we are supposed to kiss their toes and bow down to them. And they're like characters in a card game almost, where like Elon Musk or what's that fucking other cunt? I'll just say Trump, although I haven't followed anything to do with that. What's the other guy? The young guy. The Amazon fucker. I have no idea, but whenever something happens to them, like it matters to us, then the Australian dollar gets affected. Whenever Elon Musk does something to offend somebody and his stocks go down and the Australian dollar fucking goes down, or the shares go down and blah blah blah, or I'm sure it would affect the Bitcoin. And the fucking funny thing is, from memory, the dollar was affected when Trump was in the first time, 2016, and I hear through the grapevine or whatever that this person gets into power again. It's like a gross circus. That's why I haven't followed it this time, but I know that the dollar was affected, and I know that some bullshit to do with North Korea, which happened last time. It's always been this bullshit threat thing. I don't fucking know. But anyway, I won't talk about that. So I would have to weigh up my options, but I do think it's only because I would be tricked into actually signing up for cryptocurrency as a means of moving forward into an online currency and going cashless. And that is what I believe Bitcoin was set up for, to trick people into thinking that they are going to have some sort of secrecy online. Now, I will say a funny story, but not really a story, and that is all these people in my community started going on Telegram. Now, I don't think that was popular when they, introduced everyone in the community to this, but they made it sound like that they wouldn't be monitored online and everything would be safe and sound. The only thing is, you have to give them all your details on who you are, your date of birth, all the standard nonsense to identify yourself. To me, I would like to remain anonymous, and I think people should do such a thing and should be allowed to do such a thing. And like I say, once you're connected to a network connection, it's fair game. I mean, we are not protected as individuals online at all. We're not a security company. We're not from like some sort of government agency where our network is extremely secured, so no one can actually hack it and whatnot. But even then, once you connect to the internet, I mean, it's game over, really. There's so much you can do with a computer, and a computer alone, with being able to code everything and be able to create certain programs and things like that. And that's just offline. Once you connect to the internet, then it's just a whole different ball game. So I don't believe that people are protected through any type of encryption or whatever the hell it's called. I truly think that people are fools, to be honest. And now we're all, well, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but in essence we are all fools in one way or the other, unless we live as a single entity and don't follow the characteristics of others through the daily grind. We are in part fools. And I'll give you an example of myself. I try so hard to find these alternative places that sell specific food. Now, what Coles and Woolworths does, big corporations, is they would go do market research and things like that, and then they would come back and figure out what people need and want, and eventually they bring them all back to the store. And that's effectively what's happened. They've created a somewhat fairer price for the organic produce at the store in comparison to a local farmer. Then it drives me back in. And I'm sure it does with others with their needs, like gluten-free and vegan and just wheat-free, or gluten-free, whatever. All these different products they come out with just by studying how people's behaviours are. And yeah, I mean, I get it, I would buy from a local thing, but the problem is there's already a tax on organic food, and this is just an open, statement. It's just like, it's something I hate. I hate blurting out, because people get the wrong idea. They're like, oh, you eat organic, yeah, why would you do that? But, well, the thing is, I only do that because there's a certification and a trust barrier that my stuff hasn't had chemicals sprayed on it, and amongst all these things that they have to follow, the regulations and whatnot, to ensure you get a healthy product. And yes, I'm going to pay a little bit more to actually get something like that, even knowing it's a possibility that they are just putting stickers on poisoned bananas. And yeah, and the thing is, and they do it all the time, they sell you a product, they tell you what it is, and then after 20 years they'll say, oh, it turns out that this was this, and you're all gonna fucking die. That's a bit dramatic, but yeah, I don't know how to explain that a bit better. Like, for example, if the frozen organic certified blueberries were later on discovered that the farming was actually done incorrectly and they didn't follow regulations, I would assume, from what I know, that pretty much governments allowed that to happen, and they would have known that the whole time, but they wouldn't have given a crap. Now, the thing is, I don't like the fact that there is a tax on organic. I know it's harder to grow, but in reality, we shouldn't be fucking poisoning the earth. But anyway, I mean, the other reality is if you have a blueberry farm, your blueberries are coming back every year. Well, that's a poor example. A grape farm is probably something better to explain, because my grapevine comes back every single year. Give it a couple of spurts of water. It's like not been sprayed with anything that I've done anyway. It doesn't require much, whereas for some reason the farms that use pesticides and herbicides and all these toxic chemicals, for some reason they put in more hard work and get a disturbing result, and it costs less. I don't know. I guess you're helping the medical industry, so they're giving you a discount. And yeah, that's the story of how I got onto cryptocurrency, folks. But I don't know. All these things are exciting, and they're just a bit of fun. It's just, also I do believe it's like gambling as well. If you're trying to make money off of it, I'd say if you didn't know what you were doing, like realistically did not have a clue, then you were going to lose all your money, and something's going to happen probably to cause people to lose money. Oh, also the other thing too is, if it's all online, then anything could happen, like crashes and things could be wiped overnight and just become obsolete, or everyone just loses their entire stack of fake ass fucking digital number coins. But yeah, I mean, it's like going to an arcade machine. It's fun, and you're going to lose 80% of the time at that arcade machine, where you try to win prizes, but you still go there because it gives you nostalgia, and you just become a little happy and you're a child again. And that's what crypto reminds me of, and the reason why I would get into it, just for fun. But in this world, I think people are so caught up in that idea that they're forgetting the basic thing of feeding yourself and your family. And it does take a while to rebuild your soil and get back to earthly things, and when you do, you will have something more valuable than a digital number that doesn't mean anything. And and you are more valuable than that, really.